It is time now for our Sunrise Smart Start. The mother accused of killing her 3-month-old baby is due to be arraigned later today.
Mabel Enid Rosado Delgado was indicted on July 7th after being charged with murder in the second degree. According to police, Rosado Delgado brought her unconscious child to the hospital last month. The baby was pronounced dead 30 minutes later. Medical investigators say the death was caused by blunt force trauma. It was ruled a homicide.
2 children were injured and a house destroyed after a fire early Sunday in Rochester. Crews arrived on Jefferson Terrace just before 3 a.m. Firefighters say it was a child playing with a lighter that started that fire. We're told 2 children were taken to the hospital with minor burns. The Red Cross is helping provide housing for 2 adults and 4 children in that home.
Lawmakers returning to Capitol Hill today with a big to-do list. At the top, President Joe Biden's infrastructure plan, which is still hitting roadblocks with Republicans.
Joined this morning by Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer live in Washington, D.C. Kelly, good morning. What else is on the agenda when lawmakers return?
Good morning, guys. Well, like you said, infrastructure at the top of the agenda, but there's also voting rights, there's police reform, gun reform, and election reform they might revisit here. But again, these Democratic priorities are facing an uphill battle against Republicans here in the Senate. And as far as infrastructure, the president is actually set to meet with a bipartisan group of governors and mayors to advocate for this bipartisan infrastructure package again this week. He's meeting with them on Wednesday.
All right, Kelly, what is the holdup with finalizing a deal on the second infrastructure package?
So first of all, Republicans basically were against this second infrastructure package because it focuses more on human infrastructure. They want to focus more on the structural core infrastructure needs like roads, bridges, and broadband. So they couldn't agree on the size and scope of the package there. Then within the second package on the human infrastructure plan, inside the Democratic caucus, they can't seem to agree on the size and scope there. Some more moderate Democrats don't want it to be as large, and more progressive Democrats want it to go big and bold on this plan. So they have to find an agreement there. So a disagreement between Republicans and Democrats, and then between progressive Democrats and moderate Democrats here on Capitol Hill.
All right, Kelly, we'll see how it plays out. Thank you so much for your coverage. The president will also meet with the Attorney General and local leaders to talk about his administration's plan to hopefully reduce gun crimes.
The National Transportation Safety Board releasing new photos of the Transair flight that crashed off Oahu. The photos you see here show the fuselage and parts of the engine on the ocean floor. Officials say that wreckage is about 360 to 420 feet deep, which is too deep for divers to recover the black boxes. Transair Flight 810 crashed earlier this month, injuring both pilots.
Wow. All right, the big story weather-wise this week. The rain, right, James?
Yeah. Unfortunately, lots of rain this week on top of what we've already gotten. So it's been kind of a wet July overall. Temperatures right now in the lower 60s. We've got 63 for downtown Rochester. Webster, good morning. You're at 64 this morning. Greece, you're at 64 as well. Walworth over in Wayne County there, you're at 63 degrees. Now, we'll add about 10 degrees from where we are right now, but just barely umbrella worthy. It's more of a drizzle out there, a light sprinkle. If you don't mind that, then you probably don't need the umbrella. But for the most part, scattered rain showers today, but they ramp up over the next few days. We'll take a look at the commute forecast that's coming up at the end of the show. Mark, Leah?
All right, James, thank you. Speaking of the commute, let's get a look at the roads again with our sunrise traffic. An accident in Rochester on Lyle Avenue. This is near Dewey Ave. We've talked about it for about the last 20 minutes or so, so try to avoid that area if you can. 390, 490, and 590, accident-free at last check.
Well, the Rochester City School District has been awarded a $1.7 million grant from the state. This to support school violence prevention programs.
Carmela Boykin is live this morning with more on how the money will help locally. Carmela, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Leah. I'm live from the RCSD School District office, where they've received a $1.7 million grant. Some of those funds will be put towards a wellness center and a student support center for the Roberto Clemente School number 8. And some of those funds will go towards intervention services for survivors of violence, trauma, and gang-related activity. At Roberto Clemente School Number 8, the goal is to support students and families. They've been working under a grant for the past 4 years and have been renewed for another 5. This grant money funds a wellness center and allows the school to achieve their goal.
It's a relationship piece. It's that additional level of support, that Tier 3 support for our students and families.
Principal of Roberto Clemente School Number 8, Stephanie Thompson, says once relationships are built, students and families will return to the center.
Whether it's for continued support or just advice or just the relationship and some supportive pieces academically, socially, emotionally, and behaviorally.
Support Center Coordinator Carly Gelsma says the money helps the center with solutions for crises, like displaced families after house fires.
We meet people sometimes possibly on their worst day, and we need to be prepared and supportive to guide, but also to listen and really come up again with a plan of how we're going to help.
Which is essential, especially to increase the 25% in-person attendance rate and the slightly higher online rate.
In order for students to engage, families need to know that they have relationships and that they are a part of our school community.
Thompson says families can call the school over the summer for help.
If we have any of our families that are in need of assistance, if they can call the main office, we will have staff here every day.
Thompson says it's through these family relationships that set Roberto Clemente School Number 8 apart. And local community agencies could also apply for this grant. Learning Center Encompass, Inc. has received $350,000. Reporting in Rochester, Carmela Boykin, News 8.
Carmela, thank you. The grants, by the way, will be distributed over a 5-year period through June of 2026.
Now for the latest on COVID-19, the COVID state of emergency has officially ended in Monroe County, lifting many pandemic restrictions across our area. Well, this is good news, of course, for many industries. Some restaurant owners say that they want some restrictions to stay in place. An emergency order created during the pandemic puts a cap on delivery service fees for third-party apps like Grubhub and DoorDash. Local restaurant owners say that order meant more money for their business.
The difference for us personally is going to be somewhere between $2,000, $3,000 a month. Unless you can afford to do your own delivery services, which have huge costs associated with them, you know, drivers and insurance and all of that, you rely on the tablets and their system.
Currently, County Executive Adam Bello is calling on the Monroe County Legislature to pass a bill that would sign the emergency order into law.
We are learning more about the victims in that fatal boating crash on Seneca Lake over the weekend. According to the Yates County Sheriff's Office, 65-year-old Cynthia Stuck of Waterloo was pronounced dead at the scene. 4 others were injured, including Delos Stuck, Jessica Stein, David Knorr, and Alyssa Knorr. That investigation is ongoing. Deputies are asking anyone who witnessed the crash or may have taken pictures of it to call 315-536-4438 or email sheriff@yatescounty.org. Time now for a check of the GRE Morning Business Report. After more than 16 months, Costco is dropping its senior hours. The bulk retailer says beginning July 26th, it will resume regular operating hours. Like other retailers, Costco operated special hours during the pandemic to help reduce the spread of COVID, particularly for those considered most vulnerable. Walmart, Target, and Aldi continue to offer senior hours.
Well, officials say surprise medical billing is largely coming to an end. The No Surprises Act will restrict excessive out-of-pocket costs when people unknowingly get emergency or non-emergency care from providers outside of their health plan's network.
All right, here's what some folks might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. Europe has a new champion after a Euro final for the ages. Italy has won the title, beating England on penalty kicks at Wembley Stadium. England scored just 2 minutes in and held off Italy until the 67th minute. The Azzurri won 3-2 on penalties, capturing their second European championship.
Well, a winning Take 5 lottery ticket was sold at the Titus Avenue Wegmans in Rochester. The winning numbers 1, 4, 25, 30, 31. That ticket is worth $16,889.
Now that is a good way to start the week.
It is a good way.
Checking the
bonus.
kitchen counter and finding out you've got the ticket.
Little bonus there. Yeah, check your tickets and congratulations if you won.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Yeah, there you go. If only we could win in the weather department.
Well, if you like the rain.
That's true.
Yeah, it's always a relative concept.
Well, the weeds in my yard are loving this.
They are.
So, yeah, they're like...
It's the return of the dandelions.
Right. Yeah, that's what we've got. Hopefully you're not thinking about that. Maybe you're thinking about your commute to work. Watch out, some patchy fog out there. Temperature starting off in the 60s. Your drive cast, you may run into a couple of very light rain showers there as well. Maybe just enough to trigger those automatic windshield wipers that my wife has on her car. Mine do not. Mine are manually operated, so
it's a
maybe
tough job, but somebody's got to do it. I know.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update in 30 minutes. CBS This
Follow
Morning
News
is
8
up next.
wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.